Hello, good evening. My name is Babatunde Mogbojuri, your regular host for the Sage Enterprise Management HR version 12. I'm so glad to have you here with me. In our first lesson, we've talked about how to access the Sage Enterprise Management HR application. In the last lesson, we discussed that the application is a web-based application. So what you need as a user is a web browser to use the application. So either you're using Microsoft Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Firefox, or Microsoft Edge. So on the live system, your IP address or your web address could be different, but you're going to have the same login page as I have currently on the screen. So when you log in, this is your login page. You input your username as been provided by your IT team. Then you input the password. Then you click login. In today's lesson, we'll be looking at the basic navigations, the look and feel of Sage Enterprise Management HR, the dashboards, the navigation area, the menu, the sub modules, the modules itself, and so on and so forth. So join me. So I input my username here and also input the password, and I click on sign in. So when you sign in into the application, you will have this link here leads you back to the landing page. On top of this menu bar, here we have the user's name, which is the super administrator. So when you click on this user's name, you're going to have my profile, the localization, the language. We also affect your localization in terms of your date settings and what's, and also your display default features that you would love, responsive design, and so on and so forth. And this button here is a log out button. So you can have hello super administrator. Likewise, if it is a user's name, you're going to have the user's first name and just last name. So you can have hello Babatunde Mogbojuri. Yeah. So this is the user profile page. Then here the second link is actually the roles. So for the super administrator, he has two roles. The admin has a role as a super administrator and also a role as an employee service, self-service. Then the next link we have here is the end point. So depending on which access is given to the user login or user details I'm using, I'll be able to see the various endpoints that I have access to. So for now, I have access to the seed demonstration endpoint. Okay, which also have been configured by the implementation team. This icon here that has a question mark inside a cycle is your app link. When you click on it, you have two links in here. We have the online help center and we have the shortcut. So when you click on the online help center, it leads you to the Sage Enterprise Management HR online help. So you can come here and search whatever you want to search on the area of concern and so on and so forth. Okay. And the second link is a shortcut link. It's going to give you also the same place where you could have the list of shortcuts you have within the system. Okay. So here is where I have all my favorites. So I bookmark employee, I bookmark employment contract, automatic generation of payslip headings. So all these are my bookmarks. So all my favorites, these are my bookmark. You can also click here, so you can have it on top here. So you have various ways of also adding your bookmark on top. So this is favorite toolbar. So you can have functions that you normally launch all the time over and over again, instead of having to come here, go to personal administration, go to employee. So it makes life easier for you as a user. So how do you do that? You come to the favorite link and click hide or show favorite toolbar. So it's your choice. The system is quite flexible. Then we have an icon here, which is looks like a compass. So the navigation link, which give you access to all modules, submodules, and menu items available in the system. Also, depending on your access right on the system. On your live system, you could have access fewer than this, so it depends on what has been configured for you. But actually, this is standard access right. So here we have the administration, we have development, we have setup, we have common data, we have personal administration, time management, payroll, expense notes, skills and career, training, usage, report, and translations. So all these by your left are navigation linked to various modules in the Sage Business Cloud Enterprise HR. So this interface you're seeing is for version 12. So formally it's called Sage X3 People. Okay, good. So I'll just quickly go over the various modules. On the administration modules, you can, this is where you configure your users access right on the serial level, the groups, the roles, security profile. This is also the point where you can view your license data and badges and so on and so forth. This is also set up your application, your endpoint. You also set up your business object server. So come down here, we also have a module here that's called collaboration. This is where you set up your teams that you can collaborate and share documents with, giving some people access to read, access to write, and so on and so forth. Here also contains various notifications, but these are S3 based notifications. So there you have opportunity to also create various pages, mobile pages, configuration of landing pages, and so on and so forth. So here also, this way to set up your search index management. Now, if you look at up here, by your right and top right hand, you'll see a search icon here. Now, for this search icon to be effective, you need to have your Elasticsearch running on the system, and also you have to also come over here and ensure that you have set up the search index management for the application, such that you type any function, any words, it goes through the system to get you any functions, windows, object, classical screen that has the your search parameters within them, your keywords or your tags. So that is for the administration. The development actually is not meant for clients, so to speak, except the client will have a development skill set, because any mistake done here could cripple your application. So most of the time, based on my wealth of experience, it's very important that this right is being taken off from client, so that the system is actually safe. Because in the development module, you have access to the tables, you have access to the data type, local messages, the end, most of the features that make the folder what it is. So here you have screen. You can design screen, you can have your new screen, you can have your windows, your objects, and some other important setups that affect their folder wide. So here we also have the facilities to also monitor users who are currently logged on and what processes they're using. Also, you have the data integration, data extract. Also have folder change, folder unlock folder, lock folder, such a way that maybe you're working and maybe you're doing folder evaluation and what way or somehow there was loss of connectivity. Then you log in again to the system, same tells you the folder is under operation or under validation. That means the folder is locked and no other activity can be done. So in that case, you have to unlock the folder. But then there's a lot of things you can do in the development, including patch integration. So for now, I'm just going to leave that. So I'm going to have a training for development where you're going to take our time to go through one after the other. Then setup, what can I do in setup? What are the functions I can have in setup? Now we have a setup here where you have user setup. The difference between this user setup at the Syracuse level and user setup at the application level. I'm going to explain that right away. I'm just going to give you an overview. Now we click on user here. This is what you'll be expecting to see. So when you click on one of the users, you click on admin, for example. Now you will see the user details, the authentication mode, the title, the last name can say super administrators. You can have a graph here telling you this administrator is connected as close to 4 rows with it, or 4 groups assigned to it. Then also here you have the groups and the endpoint that this user can have access to. So this is at the Syracuse level. Then when we're talking about the users at the X3 level itself, the application level itself, we're going to have more functions. The user at this level, sorry about that. Okay, so the user at this level have more access. So this is where you determine what kind of menu profile, what kind of function profile should this should the user have access to. Then also here you determine who is the relationship in terms of who's the supervisor, the departmental head, the director, the HR manager, and so on and so forth. So you observe that you have more functions in here than the one you have on the user. So both are actually related. So but when we go straight into system administration, we get to know more about that. So okay, let's continue with our setup. Actually, we're in the setup module. Likewise, also under the setup, you have opportunity to determine the destinations in terms of the printing destination. For example, if it's a company policy that no information should be exported to Excel, there must be PDF, then this X3 people, now called Sage Enterprise Manager HR, is very, very flexible. It allows you to do that per users. Okay, good. So this is also where you also set up your workflow management. I have a business process flow that doesn't move from one user to another user, and what are the actions that can be performed on them. So the setup is done here. So where do I set up my company? The company setup is done here also under the organization structure. This is where I set up the companies, the site, the folder, and the departments, share of account, and so on and so forth. So when we go deeper in our lessons, we're going to understand what is a company in Sage X3. Generally, either you're using the BMS or you're using the HR. Good. Okay, so under the setup, this will also set up the parameter values. The parameter values are very, very, very important because they determine the workings, determine the behavior, determine the synchronization between the functions available in the system. Likewise, also determine how the system operates in terms of the start date, the end date, the statistical start date, tax start date, tax year end date, because all this also affects either your financial process or your HR or your payroll process. So this is where you have the basic default settings running. Now remember that on version 12, you can have different legislation in a single folder. That is awesome for me, because sometimes I work with a multinational company. They want to able to see the global net pay across various countries. So then in the lower product, then is a whole lot of mess, because in version U9 of extra people, you can only have one legislation per folder. But in version 12, fantastic feature, you could have more than one legislation in the folder. Both are working simultaneously. There is no collision, and can generate report across legislations or per individual legislation. That is an awesome feature. Okay, so likewise, also this way you set up various your import template, your export template is done here. Then also this way you set up your payroll details, your payroll elements in Sage X3 people, or now it's called Sage Business Cloud Enterprise Management HR. You have the headings and the variables, which we'll be talking later on in the payroll management. What is an header, what is a variable, but actually all these are pay elements and how they relate with each other and how they are initialized with each other, what retains certain value after a rollover from one month to another month. This is also where you also can update your payroll plan. You can also copy your payroll plan from one folder to another folder. Likewise, also there is fantastic feature I would like you to know, that even if the legislation of the country you're working on does not exist, the system allows you to customize pay plan. What an awesome feature. Okay, good. So let's quickly move on. I'm going to go straight to the common data. For those who have used, who have been in the X3 business for a while, you understand the common data. This is where you set up your dimension groups, your dimension pyramid, your fiscal years, your accounting pyramid, your accounting groups, and so on and so forth. This is where you set up your currency rates and your tax rates, and so on and so forth. Now we move straight to the personnel administration. The personnel administration is a module that is essentially compulsory. It's like a core module in the system. Now, in the personnel administration module, we have a submodule called personal data form, which we have the employee functions, which allows you to capture biodata of an employee. We have the employment contract, which allows you to capture various details of the contract you're having with the employee, either they are full-time contract, they're part-time contract, they're casual workers, they're seasonal workers, and they're political workers, as the case may be. So in some francophone countries, there are CDD and CDI, you know. So the system is well equipped to capture that, and also all statutory requirements by your legislation can also be captured in the employment contract. Good. Then also in the personnel administration, we have the disciplinary sanction, which allows you to capture disciplinary action against the employee. Good. Okay. Under the personal administration, you have opportunity under the ledgers module. You can set up your various jobs. As you can see here, this is a job family. In X3 is called standard jobs. In lower product is called, like lower product will say 300 people, it's called job family. In Premier HR is called job family. In X3 is called standard jobs. So this is where you set up the job families. You can see various job families I have here, and so on and so forth. So but then you have to hold on, and we're going to go so deep into this when we're going to be doing the personal administration as a course on its own. Okay, good. Then you also set up your positions, of course, your job title, your responsibilities, your responsibility indicators, collective agreement classifications. In some francophone countries, there are various collective agreement classifications, but in the English-speaking countries, this is actually not needed, though. So we have a profile. Your profile is like your remuneration structures, what earnings and deductions are available or are accessible via this profile. So it's like your remuneration structure. So employee population allows you to group your employee either as female, male, contract staff for analytical purposes, for reporting. for business intelligence reporting. So good. So I'm going to quickly move because of time. We're going to go straight to, because other things you can also do in the personal administration. You can set up, if you want a system to actually generate a relevant document for you in terms of your employment contract, your promotional letter, you can do that setup here. So the next module we'll be looking at is the time management. What is obtainable in time management? Now, for an HR and payroll application, you observe that is a time-based application. What I mean is that the employee life cycle, employee life is actually time based on period. On the financial system, we call it accounting period, but these are pay period. And the system allows you to set up various pay periods in the system. You could have monthly, bi-monthly, fortnightly. It is your choice. The system is very actually flexible. In the time management, also allows you to set up various types of events that affect an employee during their course of work with you. For example, you could have your normal hours, you could have your leaves also. Here you observe I have a working hours here. If you want to capture working hours, I have annual leave and so on and so forth. So the time management allows you to set up those processes within the system. Your reference week, your calendar, your extraction period, reference planning, then also allows you to inquire the leave balances per employee, also allows you to initialize leave. Okay, also allows you to capture time entry, timesheet into the system, and so on and so forth. So the next module we'll be looking at is called the payroll module. And the payroll module is very important that you realize that there are certain values that are legislation based because they affect your statutory calculations. So those are captured at the legislation values. The grid values also has the grid table for your tax computations. Then other values that are actually company specific, set them up there at the company value level. So under the payroll module, it allows you to open a payment. Now, if you have used any financial system, you have to open a period before you'll be able to post in journals into that period. So likewise, also in the payroll module, in Sage Business Cloud Enterprise Management HR, there's a feature called payment, whereby you open the payment, and that means that the month is ready to accept payroll activities. So also you can have automatic generation. You can print pay slips. You can also send pay slips by email. You can also lock a pay slip. You can also delete a payroll calculation, and a lot of features that make life easier for you. I also have the step-by-step calculation. That's one of my favorite tools anytime I'm working with the client or the consultant or the task consultant. Saying, oh, okay, this task is not correct. How do you come about this value? There's a nice feature called step-by-step calculation in Sage Extra People version 12, also version 9 also. When we go deeper, you are able to see what I'm talking about. But for now, we're just going through the peripheral, trying to look at the system, what's obtainable in the system, and so on and so forth. Okay, you have the expense notes. This is where you set up your expenses and different expense codes, which is going to affect the workflow that provides all the expenses. Now, the skills and career allows you to capture various skills per job family, at folder level, and so on and so forth. Okay, this allows you to group your skills based on the analysis your talent managers are looking at to ensure that the human capital is in synchronization with the company mission and vision. So the system also is very, very, very flexible, which allows you also to capture a lot of tools analysis in terms of following up on the skills that are acquired by the employee, skills that is needed by the job, analysis between the skills acquired versus the skills required. Okay, we're going to go deep into that when we are looking at skills and career. There's the training module. The training module allows you to set up training vendors and their space of specialization. Also, the system also allows you to also capture in internal faculty staff that have the capacity, the knowledge, then they can also pass the knowledge to all the staff in the system. It also allows you to also capture what are that specific area. So you can see that in the internal trainer. Then also allows the user to set up standard programs or individual programs with the date, the session, how many staff should go in for this training, and so on and so forth. It also allows you to capture the budget of your training and also your forecasted training plan can also be uploaded into the system. The system has a feature called training budget follow-up, whereby it allows you to compare your training budget versus your training actual costs to know whether you are overshooting your budget or you are below your budget. Good. So the next is usage for import, export, query management, batch services, and so on and so forth. We're going to go deep into that. Then reports. So this is where you have various reports within the system. Here, the reports are grouped into supervisor, period management, histories, common data, training, staff management, time management, and skills and career. We're going to go deeper into that. We also have a module called translations. Translations are very, very important because remember, Sage Business Cloud Enterprise Management version 12, also version U9 also, they are one, multi-language or multilingual, as you can see. So it means that you can switch over from English to Francais to Dutch and so on and so forth. Likewise, also it also allows you to create your own custom language. For example, I'm from Nigeria, but there's no Yoruba on Sage Business Cloud Enterprise Management HR. I can also create my language Yoruba and also do the translation of all that. So it allows you to localize the application, making it user friendly. So now these are the navigations, and these are the modules, submodules, and menu items. Now on the system, as usual, when you click on the employee, so no matter any screen you are, we have the left lists. So these left lists contain lists of data within the system. When you click on it here, it's going to load the full data for you. So this is the work area you have here. Now this is the header, and these are various tabs, and these various tabs also mean various screen. Okay, so by the right hand side you have other functions. So from close, new, save, create, delete, cancel, they are functions you always see in every Windows, in every screen you open. They are there. Are we together? Then the update is there. So excuse me, the print function is there. In every screen, the attachment is there and a comment is there. Now, anything under here differs based on the functions you have opened. So here we have the screen. So for example, I could select to change the feature. So for example, when we're discussing about the profile, here on the display default, I can say, fine, I want a responsive design. So just watch. So it's going to ask you, reload site. I say, yes, thank you, reload the site. Click OK. So you observe that the look and feel has actually changed. You observe that all the icons are all the functions have common icon, only icons for now. So with that, if you just minimize, you observe, wow, you can see. So I can reduce my screen. You can see very responsive. Can also expand my screen, though responsive. Likewise, also I can also change. So that's the beauty of Reload. So any of the interface that makes you feel at home, feel free to choose them. Good. So this is the left list. This is the work area, the windows where we have the headers and we have various tabs. Here is the navigation of records, which allows you to move to records and also to move to the last record, to fast forward, and so on and so forth. And here you have this authoring. This authoring allows you to choose, you can actually rearrange the positions of the pictures to suit you. Because let's move the pictures to the header is your choice. So it allows you to pick various UI interface. You can say, so I can begin to move this, move here. I can say, fine, I want to move this here. I can move the picture here, for example. You can see I have the picture of the head. I can click on preview. Wow, I love this feature. I can click on preview. So you can see this is going to look like. Oh, this is awesome. So the system is very flexible and it is per user. You can also do it per user or per company level or per site level or global. It's going to affect all users in the system. So it's also a nice feature. There's no need any programming language to move this frame to another frame. No, I don't need that. So good. I'm going to click no. So back to my feature. So very nice feature we have there. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to close page. You can close this page and move straight to the system here. So here we have statistics. We have various dashboards here. You can see here we have dashboard within the system. Here we have employee. So the dashboards are very, very flexible. I love the interface. It could be more complex than this. It is your choice. Very flexible to work with. We have other dashboard like the personnel administration. We have process dashboard that make life easier for your payroll accountant, for your HR. All the processes that they have, they can be actually be grouped in a pictorial form to make life easier for them, rather than they have to start moving here. Oh, I want to bring in a new employee. We'll have to go to personal administration, go to arrival of employee. Or else you could have something very easy that has a flow according to each stages. For each stages of what I'm doing, this what and what I need to do. So the system is very flexible, very, very flexible. You know, we have various notifications, payrolls, and total payrolls, and so on and so forth. You also create your own dashboard within the system. So this is navigation, the basic navigation. So in my next video, we're going to take our time to go through that each of the modules one after the other to see how our life will become better. We can be as an HRO, as a practitioner, as a consultant. How can this Sage HRO enterprise management application makes my life better and easy? So thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time. So once again, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. More and more tutorials are coming up, and I love you to hit me with a lot of questions. I'll take my time to explain that to you. So across West Africa, I have a lot of experience implementing HR across Africa. I have rating legislation for quite a number of countries. So thank you so much, and do have a lovely day.